Interesting question, and a question that I get asked quite a lot, actually, mate. And when you look at the grand scheme of things, I think it's about 458, I think, males have actually represented the country in Test cricket. I think about 158, 159 females have represented Australia in one-day cricket. So when you actually look at how hard it is to take that next step, particularly at that elite level, it's very, very hard. And it's a question I get asked a lot: is actually pushing my child up an ability level or an age group actually going to benefit them? And I think I come back to similar to what Ashton was saying before around fun and enjoyment. When you look at a 10 and 11-year-old kid, it's all about instilling a love of cricket into that child. So when they first pick up a bat, they first pick up the ball, they're having fun and they're enjoying themselves. And I think that can be done whether that's at under 10 and under 11 level, or that could be at under 12, under 13 level. There is absolutely no restrictions we place on pushing kids up. However, it's very important that we're putting the fun and enjoyment at the heart of that decision if we are pushing kids up and taking that next step. And quite often we get a number of parents that push their kids up a bit too early, and then what we actually see is we see these kids burn out and actually drop out of the sport. So I think if we are pushing kids up and they're willing and they're able and they're still having fun, they're still enjoying, they're still making runs, and they're still taking wickets, absolutely. But I think, if we are actually making that decision to push them up, it has to be on a case-by-case basis with fun and enjoyment and the kid's best interest at heart. We went down the path probably about 5 or 6 years ago to really dive deep into some of the formats and the offerings that we're actually providing at local clubs and associations right around the country. And what really sparked this was we did what we call the Grassroots Cricket Survey, which surveyed clubs, associations and coaches and volunteers right around the country. And 50% of all clubs that responded said that player recruitment and player retention at the junior level was an issue. And that was coupled with some of the figures that we actually had to see that junior club cricket was actually declining and the amount of new kids are actually coming to the sport. And around about that time as well, the Australian Sports Commission conducted their own research and put out a whole heap of information and insights as to why kids drop out of sport. And some of the major reasons as to why was it takes too long, not enough success, too hard, not enjoying their experience. And that's across all sports, not just cricket. So we sort of looked internally, and this was led by our former Australian Test captains, Greg Chappell and Belinda Clark, who commissioned a whole heap of research and engaged a number of skill acquisition and junior sporting specialists at universities right around the country to basically research and dive into our current offerings and to see whether there's things that we could be doing to engage our kids in the sport a lot more than what we are currently. And what came out of that findings was the current status of, for example, we'll have a 10, 11-year-old kid bowling the same length pitch as Ashton or Mitchell Stark or Elise Perry. And when you see that, we saw some of the scorecards, 5 or 6 years ago, and there was a very high percentage of wides and no balls, just purely because the pitch length itself was a bit too long for a 10, 11-year-old kid to hit the wicket every ball. As we know, bowling's so important. This is only one example, but bowling's so important and it's critical to the game of cricket. If you can't bowl the ball on the pitch, the batsman doesn't get into play, and really the only person that gets a workout is the wicketkeeper. So it was really important that the formats that we were providing were actually suitable to the kid's age and suitable to their ability level. So as I said, some of these findings that came out and some of the modifications and changes that were made were for under 10s right up to under 13s, there were different pitch length and shorter pitch lengths. So for under 10s, under 11s, they're now bowling off a 16-metre pitch. Under 12s and under 13s, they're now bowling off 18-metre pitch. And when they hit under 14s, that's when they start playing off a full-length pitch. Again, for under 10s and under 11s, it's 7 players per side. And some of the reasoning and rationale of that is less players per side, more opportunity to be involved in the action. Under 12s, under 13s, 9 players per side using the same logic. Some other rules that we implemented was shortened time, so shortened match time. So for young kids, it's important that they're engaged in the play and they're engaged in a short period of time, very short attention spans with some of the research. And especially when you're competing with some of the other societal trends, kids are more inclined to pick up an iPhone, pick up an iPad, whack the Xbox on than what they were, 20 or 30 years ago. So just some of those reasons, and that was one of the main reasons behind some of the changes. But what we've seen is we've seen some fantastic results in the sense that now more kids are playing junior club cricket than ever before. We've seen a massive increase in boundaries, so 4s and 6s. We've seen a massive increase in wickets. We've seen a massive increase in ones. And for me, I guess from a skill development or a skill acquisition point of view, we've seen a lot of balls hit more in front of the wicket now than what we ever had before in junior cricket. So it's been a resounding success.